one of us on stage, and it's not me, as a young man, stormed a radio station in Ibadan at gunpoint, to stop the announcement of an electoral, the outcome of a fraudulent election. After the most recent Nigerian elections in February, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, gave a TV interview where he essentially claimed that his ticket won the election, and warned that the judiciary should not swear in the man who had been announced as the winner. Subsequently, you went on television and you accused him of being fascistic in his take. So a lot of young men said, we were looking up to Soyinka. He went to a radio station to stop what was an impunity. What has happened to Wole Soyinka today?
Oh, consistency.
Oh, good.
That's all. Truth matters to me. Mm-hmm. Truth. Our problem is that many people, they look for shortcuts. Well, I do too sometimes. But I do my homework first. Mm-hmm. The election you're talking about, which took place in Western Region, this notorious gunman episode, which in fact for a long time I insisted on being coy about. I always said, I'm sorry, I was tried and I was acquitted, which is true. I said, don't you believe in the Nigerian judiciary? What more do you want me to say? But I want to stress the fact that I was right in the thick of that election. I also collaborated with a radio unit installed in Okeado, through which we were announcing the correct results as we obtained them from the various polling booths. You know where that radio station, it came from your part of the country, and we inserted it into this, the House of the Opposition. We collated results, and then Ukono would broadcast would broadcast the result from that spot to Biafra, where it would then be rebroadcast to the whole nation. In other words, I had, and we had, the facts on our hand. And the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, went on air to boast that they had won. Before the elections, he said, it doesn't matter, it was a fascistic regime. And he went on air and he said, we don't need anybody to vote for us. Whether you vote for us or not, the angels in heaven have already voted us in. That was his statement on radio. They were determined, and they were a brutal lot. The atrocities which they committed were enormous. We witnessed it at first hand. And so I wasn't relying on third-hand information about the election results. We contested throughout. We did our work solidly. Now, these recent elections. It's unfortunate that because the two things happened, first of all. One party, well, which party isn't, but in any case, in this particular instance, one party took over the labor movement, which is one of my favorite movements also. And then it became a regional party, more than, whereas it was a marvelous breach into the established two camps. Peter Obi achieved something remarkable there, that he broke that mold. Yes. However, he did not win the election. Let me remind you of a movement called Take Niger. Take Back Niger. Later on, remind me to ask what's happened to Ngozi Iweere, who was one of the candidates. I've been looking for her. And she was one of those who, during that period, succeeded with the aid of friendly countries in creating, if you like, a parallel INEC, which was embedded in the Surulere area, trained masses of motorcyclists, empowered them with radio cameras, all this. Okada, we call them Okada riders, used them as monitors throughout the entire nation. They were trained in a secret house in Lagos, in the heart of Lagos. You wouldn't know that there were all these consoles, down there, and broadcasting equipment, laptops, etc. And so the elections have been regularly monitored by that unit. It's no longer there in its original form in 2014, but the scraps are still there. In addition, my own organization has a monitoring unit. You know the one I'm talking about. And so I could say categorically that Peter Obi's party came third, not even second. And that the leadership knew it. Well, they wanted to do what we call in Yoruba, gbajue. That is, you have force of arms. You also have force of lies. And it was gearing up towards violence. They were going to send, some of the hardliners were going to send crowds, young people, into the streets to demonstrate. I'm always ready to be among such demonstrators, but only on the banner of truth, not of lies, not of deceit. We've had that kind of scenario before. Remember, this same Buhari, who proved a useless person anyway, in which the youth corpers were killed. The students I was recruited as monitoring agents, returning officers, and so on. Because of their uniforms, they became targets. I was instrumental in working with some of our governors in extricating those youths from where they were hiding. They were brutalized. And now, this party wanted the same thing to happen, and on the basis of a lie. And we found this vice presidential candidate on television boasting and insisting and threatening and menacing, trying to intimidate both the judiciary and the rest. What kind of government would result from that kind of conduct, do you think? In addition, and this is the worst part, they didn't know it, but they were being used. Before the elections ever took place, there was a certain clandestine force, a reactionary. It included some ex-generals who were already calling for an interim government before the elections began. Interim government, some of them even went and demonstrated, and some of them were well-known figures, including even the proprietor of a university, calling for an interim government before elections ever took place. And so the party was playing into the hands, maybe not consciously all of them, but some definitely, trying to create a situation to bring back the military. That's what I was against. And before then, I'd already sent 3 emissaries to that leader, saying, curb your supporters. Just tell them to be on their guard. If you lose an election the first time, what does it matter? I said, you just tell them to stop threatening, to stop intimidating people. So it wasn't something knew it was some responsibility. No, I had to stop their getting the youths on the street to be slaughtered. And for what? For a lie. This for me was unacceptable.